Now it's time for Inspirational Women, and my guest, Samantha Buckley Hugeson, a certified life coach and the author of Unstuck Yourself, The Guide to Designing a Life You Love. Samantha writes this wonderful book, which is also one to use with your own journal. She writes from her own personal experiences and those of clients, and so we have a great reservoir of experiences to relate to, and that encouragement and support is just super for us. So let's get on with designing our great life. Good morning, Samantha Buckley Hugeson. It is so great to have you join us this morning. So thank you for being here as we wrap up this 2020.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm so grateful that you wanted to have a talk with me today and that we get to inspire and make the big leap into the next year.
And yes, that's exactly what we want to do. And I just want to key in on your saying that you're grateful. And I want to kind of toss that back and say that I am grateful to you for what you're doing, for how you are living your life and wanting to share that and inspire us to be able to do what we want and deeply desire to do. So gratitude is quite at the core here as we move forward, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. It's yay. All I can say right now is yay.
Yes. Yay that, well, life, so 2020's been tough, without question, and yet here we are saying yay because there have been some good things. And I kind of think in terms of your book, Unstuck Yourself, The Guide to Designing a Life You Love, we could see through the circumstances that we've kind of encountered and lived through this year, it's been almost like this palette for us to look at what to do and how we can do what we really want, because we've had to kind of change the slate a bit.
A bit?
A bit? A lot. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, what you're saying is so wonderful. I'm thinking about the book, now that you mentioned it, and there is a portion in the book, a chapter that talks about gratitude, an entire chapter that talks about gratitude and the benefits of it. But I also talk about gratitude for something, which, we all recognize. I'm grateful for my comfy bed, or I'm grateful for my family. But I also talk about being grateful in, and grateful in a situation, for instance, or in a circumstance, or the like. Grateful in something, you have to dig a little deeper. And believe it or not, that's where some of your greatest energy lifts come from. So grateful in, what we had to learn from 2020. It taught us a lot. We learned a lot about ourselves. I work with clients, every day. I'm a life sales and leadership coach. And it's like, okay, so what are you learning about yourself? Look how, you can make decisions and move and stretch and adjust. So anyway, I may have gone on a bit of a tangent there, but
No.
Being grateful in a situation is a wonderful skill or a muscle to develop.
And the way that you have actually phrased that, Samantha, grateful in, because there's a gamut of emotions and just feelings, attitudes we have about this year. And without question, it's been tough. But I love how we can really change that focus by saying gratitude in, because find those lessons that have existed for us.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We energize the good that's come from it. And it's not denying the facts. You'll read and hear me talk a lot about, I'm not suggesting anybody deny the facts. I'm not suggesting anybody deny that something, may have been extremely difficult or challenging. What I'm suggesting is that we energize the truth about it. And the truth about it is where we are today and where we're going forward. It's creating and designing our life opposed to living in, the troubles or the drama of our past.
And so it's not just this year. It may have maybe highlighted some of those are a lot of the past where and then we come to unstuck yourself because either from the past or this year has maybe solidified it. We might be finding that that's exactly what's gone on. We're stuck somewhere.
For sure. I wrote the book specifically because I've been stuck. I think we all have. And I, used to have people come into my office. Now I work a lot on Zoom, mostly on Zoom. But I'd have people come in my office and I'd say, okay, well, what's up? And overwhelmingly, they'd often say, I don't know, I'm just stuck. Okay, well, let's get you unstuck. And, you actually can design a life that you can really love. Really? Yes, this is happening through you, not to you. Let's go. You're in charge. Let's go.
And that's perhaps what we feel is that so much has been done to us during this time. We've become unemployed. That's, the fact for so many people. But maybe the thing that we find is, okay, what am I going to really do? Find what my true passion is. Was I just kind of, going along in just rote mode?
I love that you just said that because I'm telling you, we're being redirected. And I think that's a great word for people to just hold on to and ask themselves from time to time, am I being redirected here? Because I thought, I was supposed to have this job or supposed to do this, and I had to drive and commute, and I had to do this. But then the world told me I couldn't drive and commute, and I couldn't do this. So what's the good in this? Maybe I'm being redirected. What would I love to do? And that's the gift in this. It's just one of the many gifts, is that we're being redirected, and people that thought they had to work in their cubicle or commute and stay in traffic for 2 hours, and when they were forced to change, guess what? It changed. We've had the highest real estate sales and relocation going on, in the United States in decades. It's fantastic.
Right. And people are in that because we are able to do so much of our work using technology. We can really choose to live in places that are where we'd really love to be.
Right. Well, when you read the book, The Unstuck Yourself, you're going to find that I actually live in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I was born and raised in Seattle, and I spend my summers in the Northwest. But I decided, and we're going to talk about that word, I decided a long time ago what I wanted for my life. And that's what I empower people to do. Anybody can do it. It's available to any and everybody. But one of the greatest things I've learned down here is, let's say that, someone moves down here because they took the plunge or their husband got a job here or whatever, and they're like, I don't know what to do. My husband got transferred here and he's got a job, but for instance, I'm thinking of a client who is a nurse. And she's like, but I can't practice nursing here. What do I do? I don't know, but let's figure it out. And the person I'm speaking of created an awesome, really well-respected small business of a passion that she loved. So I think that the displaced portion of this, I've had a little extra experience with, and I'm here to tell everybody it's available to everyone. It's not just, it's we've been able to make decisions like this for a long time. We just got a big wake-up calling catalyst this past year.
Yes, and it's really to our benefit to look at it in that way. Hard as it may be in some cases for some people, still it's been this major wake-up call.
Well, their alternatives kind of stink, right?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
looking at it that way is not very fun, so let's change how we look at things.
So here we have this opportunity. And And here we have this opportunity also to be speaking with you. You've written this great book, which is a great guide and tool for us. But you also, as you say, work via Zoom online, and we should mention you do have a website too, so we can get lots of insight into you and some connections that way. So the website is
designedlifellc.com.
Great.
And the neat thing about the book is it's actually a workbook. So it's not just to read it, which kind of intimidates people. But if you're, ready for some true change, it's a fun book. And you get a notebook out and you actually start creating true change for yourself. When I wrote it, I didn't want to just preach to people or just talk. So many people talk to impress. And my goal was really to express, to help create change for people. And when we read the reviews on the Unstuck Yourself book, which there's a lot of books called Unstuck Yourself, but this one with the tagline, The Guide to Designing a Life You Love, if you read the reviews, people are really applying it and really transforming. I get choked up. It just makes me so happy.
Well, certainly it needs to. It's great that you have that feeling, and you need to have that if people kind of wake up to the fact that, yes, I do have a choice here, and I can begin to design. That word is so key here, to design. It's not, I'm just going to change my life. Designing really is a very strong and directed word, I feel.
It's purposeful.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's purposeful. It's by design, not by default. Because, we can agree that up until now, we've all lived, period. It's pretty obvious we're living. So if you're living, you've done it one of two ways. You've either done it by your design, purposeful, or by default, just showing up and seeing how it goes. Design's really empowering, and it really it gives you so much self-esteem, and it gives you so much to be grateful for. So then we return back to gratitude, that incredible energy.
And we turn back to the fact that this is a workbook. And I think, as you share with us in the book too, a lot of this started with your just kind of realizing, I don't like where I'm at, and you started to make a list. You wrote it down. There's this energy, a power in writing it down that it really has a way of changing course. It really goes deep within us, and then out to the universe, I think.
Yes, 100%. If I could give, I have a million pieces of advice, but one of the greatest advice pieces I would give people is get a notebook, get a journal, and the thing is that you just write what you're feeling, what you're thinking, review it. It's yours. Nobody else has to read it. It doesn't have to be a certain format. But writing versus typing versus typing. If you were in my office right now, you'd see I have 3 computers on my desk. I'm very techie friendly, but there's also a notebook right in front of me and a beautiful blue pen that matches the cover of my beautiful blue book.
That's coordination, or there's design as well, right?
Or I just really like the turquoisey blue.
Like the ocean around you.
Exactly.
So that's a really strong and very, in a way, simple first step, I would say, is to begin with writing, just maybe even not being sure where we are. I mean, that sometimes happens, doesn't it, Samantha? Do you find with people you work with that sometimes it's kind of a muddle? It takes kind of digging through stuff to get to the core of, like you were mentioning, the woman who's a nurse, coming up with what she really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. I find this is one of the cool things about coaching. Coaching is very much looking through the windshield versus the rear view mirror. So often when my clients talk out loud to me, they hear their own answers. it's the same with writing. When you're writing, you might have a question and you start writing, all of a sudden you look down and you go, oh, I got it. Okay. Oh, I got it. So there's that gift in the written word. There's that gift in transcribing and saying, oh, you become your own, sounding board sometimes when we write.
So, and which brings me to the point that sometimes we feel answers will come from someone else, but I think what you're doing is empowering people to see that the answers are within us.
Every single time. You'll see in the book, and if you talk to me when I ask questions, and I'm practiced, I was in sales for 30, 40 years, and then I've been a full-time coach for 10, so I'm practiced at asking great questions. And when I ask them, my clients know they never get to say, I don't know, because you do. The voice of inspired insight is as loud as your willingness to listen. And that's Gandhi. I didn't come up with that. And it might be paraphrased, but the voice is always inside of us. We just need to listen. And so often when people say to me, if I ask a question, they say, I don't know. Of course, I'll say, okay, well, let's pretend you did know. Then what could an answer be? And if they're really stuck, then I have them write down the question and put it next to the bed at night and ask it before they go to sleep, because they're blocking. The answer exists. However it's sourced, it could be sourced from, the GOD, which is the Grand Overall Designer. It could be universe, Jesus Christ. It could be whatever the source is, it will speak through you. Don't block it. You may not like the answer. I remember when I first started practicing to write the question down, put it next to the bed, I got my answer like 4 a.m. I woke up and I just knew it was my answer, and I'm like, darn it, it's not the answer I wanted. But it was the answer, and I knew it was. You tune into yourself, right? And we're not alone. We're all connected, right?
Right.
So
right. So that's a good point, though, about you didn't like the answer. So for us who might be, facing the same sort of thing, how did you work through that?
Well, I paid attention. There's a notice what you're noticing. That's really important. It's like, what am I noticing here? I keep noticing this. So it's something trying to speak to you, trying to, get you to act or change. And in my case, I didn't like the answer, but I needed to act on it because it was the answer. We can go back to relationships. I remember, a relationship I was in my 20s, early 30s before I met my husband. And I just knew there was nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't the one. And you just know it. And so it's kind of like at some point you decide, okay. And that's the key word again. I'm going to say it again, decide. Oh, it's such a great word. I decided to act on my knowing. And that's what you do. Like it or not, act on it and then move through it.
So that is, I think, wisdom, is to just take that step, because I think I've heard this somewhere in the distant past. It'll just keep showing up, and it'll come gently, and it'll come stronger until it's like this big pole banging the door down.
Yep. There's no doubt about that. And I think anybody listening can look back at their life and say, there's been many times when I tried to ignore, and it just kept showing up. And it might show up in the why does this always happen to me, the victim state. Well, because you keep putting yourself in a situation and not leaning into it, recognize, shining the light on it. On my desk, I actually have a flashlight, and I use it as a reminder, just stop living in fear. Shine a light, step toward it, make a decision. And guess what? If it turns out it's not the best decision, well, then make another one. That's okay. Just you're learning. You don't learn by standing on the sidelines. Get in the game.
Right. And no
Yeah.
doubt there's just, maybe it's just realizing, oh, that's definitely not it. But usually we pick up some little bit of wisdom or some direction that will lead us further down the path to where we ultimately, well, ultimately will be kind of the end, but just this better life that we want.
Yes, and I talk about, we're talking about all the things in my book. How great is this? I talk about the lean in approach, the shine a light on it. It's when we were kids, well, sometimes grown-ups, we wake up, we think we wake up, and there's a boogeyman under the bed or in the closet. Okay, but if we had a flashlight, we recognize there's not really a boogeyman under the bed or in the closet. It's the same as adults. Just lean in. Go open the closet. There's nothing there. Just do it. And if you find what's in the closet, you didn't like it, well, clean it out or shut the door and go find another door. It's really about being redirected. You can't get redirected, and you don't learn. I never learned anything the easy way. I guarantee you, when you read the book, you'll see I was resistant. But when you get the tool of, okay, what's in this for me? What is this trying to tell me? All right, what would I do differently? Okay, great. It was a stumble. It was a fall. Get back up and turn around and walk differently. That's how we learn. Get off the bench.
Yes, we're not going to get where we want to do by not moving forward, putting the car into drive, so to speak.
Amen. There's a thing that a couple of little tools I'd love to give the listeners.
Please.
Because this is a lot to have to transform or change. It seems overwhelming. And you can just take little baby steps. Nobody said you had to be perfect. And I find that that's what holds people back. They're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect circumstance, We're coming upon the new year. A lot of people are, I'm going to wait till the new year because I'm just too busy. Or okay, well, that's fine. But it's all or nothing. And it shouldn't be all or nothing because all or nothing rarely lasts. We just take baby steps.
And that's definitely another piece of wisdom, not thinking that it has to be some grandstand performance.
Ultimately, that's intimidating. Right? That's
right.
Intimidating. It's got to be all or nothing. It's, I have to lose 40 pounds. And you say, okay, well, if you decide I'm just going to start with good lifestyle habits now, changing a little bit, if I have to, because I lost 40 pounds in 2016, and I needed to lose it 10 years prior to that. So, what held it up for me? Well, I kept waiting for the magic pill. Mm-hmm. And the magic pill was just start. And just do what you can from where you are with what you have and do your best. And guess what? The 40 pounds came off, and it didn't come off all at once. But I felt better every day by doing a little thing. And that's what we do for ourselves.
But yes, there's that magic pill for whatever the situation might be, whatever our desired goal might be. We think something magical is going to happen, but it takes us, and it's like you're saying, Samantha, it's within us. We have it there.
Mm-hmm. In the book I write, the magic pill is action. That is the magic pill. Take action. And don't qualify if it's good enough. Any action is good enough.
And what about how we react to ourselves if we've made an action and we've stumbled? What purpose does beating ourselves up about it do?
Well, those are paradigms. Those are old habits. Those that might have been programming that we've been carrying around our whole lives. But as adults, I'm 54, so I think I'm kind of a grown-up. And as a grown-up, a full-fledged, card-carrying human, I would say that we just go, okay, not that way. Not that way. Turn right. There's another way. And that's all it is. It's not a excuse to I'm a failure or beat ourselves up. That's a game. I was talking with a client yesterday who's like, well, and she's 55, and she says, well, it's my parents, because my parents did that. I go, you're 55. Stop. Reframe the thought. Reframe the behavior. You know, in the book, you'll find my mom was married 7 times. I've been married 21 years now. You don't have to be your parents. Wake up and say, okay, what part of this is mine? Okay, I'm going to do the best I can to reframe this. So old habits, old thoughts, you don't just say, don't think that, don't do that. I do this because. You say, okay, not this time. I see myself going down that path again, and I'm going to take a step in a different direction. I'm going to practice not being like that anymore. And we practice, and we reframe, and we replace bad habits with good ones. And we just keep practicing. It works, I promise.
And that's such a key word too, practice, that it's not going to be instantaneous. And something good may happen real quickly, but it still is practice. Each day is going to be a way to just kind of hone it and be better. Not that anything was necessarily then bad, but just to know practice is just a great way to live.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of pressure off. Again, it's not the all or nothing. We're practicing our new way of believing, our new way of transformation, our new way of doing things. And you're gonna slip. Expect to slip. And then you expect to get back up and say, whew, I slipped, but I'm going to get back up. Babies learn to walk. They don't sit there in a poopy diaper going, oh, well, I fell and I'm not getting back up. We just get up and we go again. And we get better at it.
Yes. Take heart with that. And I feel what will do us such a great service, a gift we can give to ourselves, is getting a copy of this book, Unstuck Yourself, the Guide to Designing a Life You Love, because not only will we get these great insights and all your experiences, because we learn by those stories and what someone else has gone through and how they've approached it. But as you said, we then journal about it to make it personal and what we're going to be doing.
And in the book, we're going to teach you about a powerful, important morning practice, so you'll get a soul food menu as to what works for you, because what worked for me may not work for you. But no, I take it back. Everything that worked for me works for everybody, but you do you in this process of transformation.
Well, just personalize it in some way, right?
Yeah. That's it. That's why there's a menu.
So here we go, as we then wrap up this learning year of 2020, the reset year, and approach a new year. It gives us this new, we always look at the new year somehow as a new planet, but not planet, a new plate actually in front of us. But each day is that. So again, I always kind of have some reservation about, New Year's resolutions, because each day should be that kind of newness and an approach, right?
It should be, but and it's specifically because reality is New Year's resolutions have a 92% fail rate within 28 days. So how about just deciding this year I'm going to work toward a great me, a great life. I'm going to design, and just start from where you are with what you have. And now is a great time to start. Do it imperfectly. But I promise, by taking a little step every day, taking the magic pill, which is action, 2021 is going to look amazing.
And that is what we are fully open to experiencing. So we can learn more about you, about Samantha Buckley Hugeson, your book, Unstuck Yourself, about you as coach and trainer, and find all of this on your website, which is?
www.adesignedlifellc.com. www.samanthabackley.com. And, of course, the book and the Audible, and it's in every format you can imagine out there on Amazon. It is an Amazon International bestseller, so go and get it. And let's work together. I'm happy to support anybody and everybody in this transformation.
Well, thank you, Samantha, and congratulations on the book and the fact that it is such a bestseller that speaks volumes.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, I'm going to circle right back. I have such gratitude for the time that we got to spend together this morning. I appreciate it so much.
Well, what can we say? Thank you again then. And here we go into a fabulous 2021. And with that, we're at the end of a very full hour of Inspirational Women with Samantha Buckley Hugeson and Sunday Morning Magazine with Dr. Mark Goulson. I'm Kate Daniels, your host, and I so greatly appreciate your having shared this hour with me and these special guests. For details you might have missed or information you'd like to know, please just send me an email, kated@warm1069.com, and I'll get right back to you. Also, if you'd like to listen again or share these important stories with your family and friends, find the podcast on our Warm 1069 webpage. Just click on the podcast tab, then look for either of the show names and then the guest names. I now wish you and your family a day of learning from this year and preparing for a new, different, and purposeful one. Have a week of the same, and then please plan to join me again next weekend for another hour of Sunday Morning Magazine and Inspirational Women on Warm 1069. Good morning and Happy New Year.